All right, welcome back. Why you shouldn't get married till you're 28? Some young lady, her name is Venita. Venita. Let's talk about this really quickly. I want to know what your thoughts are about this short video. Let me share. Okay, there you go.
You brought up the Ariana Grande story. The stack is still highly of it. You brought up the Ariana Grande story, how she stole someone's husband.
That's what I heard.
No, yeah, because she's had new fans. Like whenever I'm on Twitter and people are you saying, how do you steal somebody that does not want to be stolen?
Be stolen if he does not want to be stolen.
Exactly.
But it is a bit sad that she just had a baby and they are newly married and they are high school sweethearts. But this is why I say, don't marry young. Don't go and do. I'm doing high school sweetheart. We die here 20 years. Just be young. Be young, enjoy your life. When you are tired, get married.
Right. And then when you say don't marry young, what's your what?
Let me stop there for a second before I continue. Okay, she said when you are tired, you should go and get married. Why do you think she's saying what she's saying? What do you think is coming from? Somebody said Ola is just an opinion. By the way, Adebusola, what's going on? Good to see you. Why do you think? What do you think? Ola is just an opinion. Okay, that's one reason. What else? What else could be the reason why she thinks you should finish off yourself? Make sure you're tired first. Let me play from the beginning. There's a rest of the story, but I want to play from the beginning so you can hear it again. Okay?
So you brought up the Ariana Grande story. The stack is still highly of it. You brought up the Ariana Grande story, how she stole someone's husband.
That's what I heard.
No, yeah, because she's had new fans. Like whenever I'm on Twitter and people are you saying, how do you steal somebody that does not want to be stolen?
Be stolen if he does not want to be stolen.
Exactly.
But it is a bit sad that she just had a baby and they are newly married and they are high school sweethearts. But this is why I say, don't marry young. Don't go and do. I'm doing high school sweetheart. We die here 20 years. Just be young. Be young, enjoy your life. When you are tired, get married.
Right. And then when you say don't marry.
When you are tired, get married. That's what she said. Okay? When you are tired, get married. When you are tired, what does she mean by that? Am I nitpicking her words? I mean, there's more to what she's saying. When you are tired, now you should be curious. Did she get tired before she get married? I keep telling you, we all project, okay? If you hear me, Ola, are you projecting too? Yeah, I am projecting. Some of it is my personal experience. Some of it is stuff because I cover these stories all the time, particularly to extract. I'm a lifetime student of relationships, right? So it's everything I'm telling you, I'm also projecting. It's a function of all of that. My personal experience, but also continually educating myself by just being curious, talking about having these conversations all the time with you guys, with the Prestige family. So yes, I am projecting too. All of us are projecting, okay? But she is definitely projecting, So that's not a crime to project. It's just what we do. But it's a very powerful thing when you're aware of it, when you're self-aware about projection. It's a very powerful, it's a superpower, okay? Tia said, I don't know about that, I beg. What if you're tired when by the time you are 40, at 40, you will be tired for sure at 40, I'll tell you that much. But what does she mean by tired? Tired of what exactly? When you're tired of being a child? At what point are you supposed to be tired of being a child is a question, right? At what point should you be, as a man or a woman, okay? Because now her suggestion is something about marriage, getting married at, why you shouldn't get married at 20, at 28, right? Let me see. Chinye say, I guess if I go by her context, she's referring to people marrying their high school sweetheart as opposed to experiencing life and then getting married afterwards. There's a lot of truth to that. There's even men that didn't have any experience and they go get married and somehow it always backfire. Sometimes it backfires in the form of resentment, you know. That's why you hear things like, you finish using yourself. Well, you know, and you know, maybe they were kind of like they were like a bounce back, what do you call it, rebound type of dude, you know. So we have those kind of stories out there. What's going on, cool mama? Good to see you. So I'm just I'm wondering, have you guys let me see, I said maybe when you are tired of running amok. What does that mean? Pressure to what?
Everything I do, pressure to what?
What do you mean by when you're done running amok? What does that mean? Yeah, let's see what she means by that. Let's hear from her, right? What does she mean by when you're tired? When you're tired, what does she mean? You know, she's gonna tell us. She'll tell us. You know, if they talk long enough, they tell it themselves, right? So let's let her finish.
Young, what's your age for young? Because people 42 still call themselves young.
Okay, do not marry young. I'm saying ideally, okay, if my daughter came and approached me that she was ready to get married. If my daughter approaches me and says, Mom, I want to get married.
Let me see. Who is Venita? Okay, is she BBN or something like that? She's a reality TV star. That's what they call her. Venita, TV personality. Is she a stylist or something? Let me see. I'm just trying to see if I can see if this is the right person. No, that's the wrong person. I'm going to put so Venita is a common name apparently. Oh, Nigerian actress. She's an actress. Okay, she's an actress. So Venita Akpofure is a British Nigerian actress and video vixen. Oh, we're getting somewhere. A video vixen, she gained prominence as a housemate in the 4th season of Big Brother Naija. She plays the lead role of Nengi in African Magic's Unmarried. And she has 2 children. She's 37 years of age. Okay. And we're getting somewhere. Okay, let me finish playing the video. Maybe when you are tired of running amok, as in being out of this street. Oh, yeah. If you were actively and intentionally running the streets from the beginning, there's a good chance you will always be for the streets. Sorry. Yep, there's a good chance you will always be for the streets. You will have residues left on you at least. And then you might just end up at the end of 4 kids, try to get a little side ninja. God forbid. Anyway, that will not be your portion in Jesus' name. But things are happening. Things are happening. But let me finish what she says. I think
as long as she's not, I swear to God, not up to 28, we can rock with it. Anything below 28, please.
Anything below 28, she's not going to approve of her daughter coming to her for marriage. Why? Tell us, auntie. Tell us.
No, immediately no.
Because you're going to change your mind and you don't.
Okay, she said you're going to change your mind. Okay, so she's going to, she's essentially assuming. Okay, hold on one second. She's basically assuming that after 28, you will not change your mind. Right? Isn't that what that means? Maybe she didn't mean that, but somebody's going to hear her and interpret it as that. So it's a dangerous thing to say with a very loud microphone. Right? Thank you, Dari Adebsola. That's BS. 25, I feel, is matured age for marriage. Who knows? Some people never mature until 65, right? But she made a point here, right? She said the point is pregnant with assumptions that after 28, you will not change your mind, right? You're going to change your mind. She said even at 40, you're still evolving, madam. Yeah, so she's looking for the magic formula number, and she already told us 28, where you will not change your mind after, right? Let's continue.
Know all of who you are at 20 something. Don't get me wrong, there are people that are mature, but like you need to try different things in life, different experiences.
Try different things, try different experiences. There's also a level of assumptions there that once you get married, all types of trying different things in life and experiences will stop, right? Well, if it's sex we're talking about, it should stop, right? But what other type of experience could you possibly enjoy for the rest of your life after 28 outside of sex? There's nothing that we can enjoy, right? Well, one thing precisely that we would tend to stop being obsessed over as time goes, we get older and older, is sex or anything aesthetic or surface level or obsession with money or power. All of that kind of tend to, you stop worrying about, you just want peace of mind. As you grow older and older, you just want peace of mind. You want great friendship, great relationships. You want to hang out with your friends. Those are the kind of things you're looking for as you get older and older. And those are things you crave, right? But hopefully not at 50. Hopefully at 50 you can still talk with this small here and there. But probably not as much, right? But she's talking about enjoying. You should say enjoy. What's she talking about? Let's keep going.
Be sure, okay, I want to be stuck here because it's handcuffed. Yeah.
She says stuck here, that you want to be sure of being stuck here. To her, marriage is synonymous to being stuck. This auntie has collected some kind of shege from a man somewhere. All right, that's what's going on. She's projecting. All right, she's projecting. And of course, I don't know what's going on with Ariana. I think they were talking about Ariana Grande, right? So obviously she can probably relate. And she's like, when women will say things like, this, you should make sure you discover yourself before you go into marriage. And me, I push back on and say, you cannot discover the same thing she said, all of yourself before marriage. Okay, you will need to experience all of it, all of the status. Okay. Or some kind of taste of it somehow, because you don't have to be divorced to experience what it could feel like to be on that brinks of divorce, right? But you will need to experience all of the status in order to make such a bold statement, right? You would have collected some kind of woto and hopefully gone through some kind of necessary healing. All right, so but a lot of assumptions, but I don't blame her because it's starting to sound. She's 37. Yeah, if she's single, she's not single. I just read that she's divorced. So if she was single and she was saying this, right, at 37, it will still make sense to me, because you don't just pass through life all the way to 37 without collecting your healthy dose of premium breakfast in one shape, form, or the other. Sometimes it's indirect. Maybe you were the one dishing so many breakfasts to so many incompetent men, which means you tend to attract incompetent men. You don't collect one way or the other. That's where all of this rhetoric is coming from. It's okay, we all project. I'm just pointing it out, that's all. Let me finish playing this.
Yeah, there.
Why are you using the word stuck? Like,
Because you're stuck. That's not.
She said, why are you using the word stuck as a synonym to marriage? She said, because you're stuck. That sounds extremely personal.
Jesus is Lord.
That sounds very personal. She said, because you're stuck. Tell us more. Where's the rest of the story? Tell us more, right? Let's see if she will tell us more.
That's the idea now.
How?
That's the social idea. Unless you're westernized like me, then you're unstuck. You cannot.
How
stop
are you
yourself.
stuck?
Unless you're westernized like me, then you're unstuck. The social idea is you're stuck. Marriage, in marriage you're stuck. That part confused me a little bit. If you're westernized, you're not stuck inside of marriage. Interesting.
Like you guys are literally enjoying your time together.
Oh, guys.
You're chilling.
Hello.
She said, what guys? She said, dude, you're fantasizing. She said, what's the name of this girl? Tasha at Cool FM, right? She said, dude, you're fantasizing. What do you mean you're enjoying each other? That doesn't exist. People go into marriage to get stuck, especially if they're not in the Western world. And yet, the people in the Western world are also fantasizing about the ones in the village, the traditional one. Confusion everywhere. Let's continue. She said, hello, you're fantasizing.
Oh, I'm divorced.
As in I mean the couple guys, the people in the partnership.
The ones that
She's like, I don't know. I don't have any experience. So you're the one telling us. Tell us. She just doesn't know enough to say, can you tell us the rest of the story? There's some story behind what you're saying, right? Or maybe she's, let me make sure my guest is comfortable. No, I bet not. She just doesn't know.
they're enjoying, but they will still reach a time where they probably each other and still have to be
She said they will reach a point where they will probably hate each other. And they will what?
in the same space.
Because they will be, she's talking about see finish. That's inevitable for literally every relationship. That's not a marriage thing. That's every relationship. Once you're in the same space for long enough, see finish go enter. That's just what, it's just that people in marriage, they collect more because there's a lot of emotions, and maybe she's right. You kind of feel stuck. You can't just walk up into the other room. Well, you can. People will walk into the basement and go and sleep in the basement, right? And it's true that some people go through that. It's true that a lot of people are inside of marriages where you're better off being single. That's the reality. Sadly, that's the reality. What I'm pointing out here is that this auntie have also collected that type of shege, and she needs to tell us the rest of the story. That's what she needs to do. Tell us what guys. Yeah, exactly. She's like, what guys are you talking about? Who are you talking about? I don't know. I don't know anybody, right? It makes sense to me that she probably doesn't know anybody too, right? She probably doesn't know anybody that have enjoyed their marriage. You know why? Because misery loves company. She's probably always looking for people that have experience, so she can, feel a little bit better. She can feel like, so she can feel like, I'm not alone. And she should. Because you don't want to be in that space where you feel like the whole world is against you. You also want to kind of hear some other people's story that aligns with yours, so you can know that you're not crazy. Some people need to do that before they can even engage any type of healing. Okay, let's keep going.
Honestly,
Why did you say they get madam room, they get oga room? Like,
she said, why you think say they get madam room or oga room? Well, I don't know what other people do in their households, but my guess is that not as many people are doing that these days as much as they used to do back in the day. They did it back in the days because people were practicing polygamy, right? So people had their different rooms, right? But since people have been doing Oyibo type of marriage, that's not really a common thing. In fact, anytime somebody says I need my own room, they always look at them sideways. That's in 2024, of course. I don't know, some people are talking like it's 1993. So let's see. She says that's why some people have oga room and wife from there, because they need their space. Well, needing space is not necessarily a bad thing, okay? But I don't know where she's getting at with that. Let's continue here.
when the ground is shaking and I need space.
So you brought up the Ariana Grande story. The stack is still high level.
All right, so she's divorced, okay? That's where this is coming from. Not just that she's divorced and she feels how she feels. And she's making a conclusion here that if you marry after 28, there is less chance that you'll be divorced. I think that's what she's trying to say, okay? I think that's what she's trying to say. Let me see. Adebusola says, I kind of agree with her, Sha. Stock can be positive or negative, Sha. Yeah. The reality is that there's a lot of people inside of marriage that are stuck. That's actually the reality. But sometimes we take these conversations to another level, the mindset level, right? Where we're not just talking about the reality of what happened, but when you are coming out of a situation, and now your mindset that it has to be that way or it's an absolute thing. That's when we push back and say, no, it doesn't have to be that way. You're stuck because at least one of you guys don't know what you're doing. Okay? And people are normalizing it. And if you hear what she's saying, she's actually kind of sort of normalizing it. No, that's not normal, and it shouldn't be normalized. I don't know if it's normal. I don't know what the numbers are, but it shouldn't be normalized. If all you're doing is enduring inside of marriage, something one day will give. And unfortunately, the longer you wait, you're wasting time, and time is life. Okay, and the reality is that you can learn one or two things, and you can absolutely start creating a new experience where you don't have to feel or have the mindset that stock equals to marriage. If your mindset says stock equals to marriage, you will literally attract, yes, it's an absolute, you will literally attract what you fear the most, because you will create it, right? Because your perception is your reality. Right, it's a very, very dangerous mindset to have, and it's a very dangerous thing to keep listening to when you do that. Let me see. While I don't enter when you ask for a separate room, usually that's the case. Okay. Usually, if you're in love, which is not a permanent thing, but it becomes permanent after some point if you figure it out, right? If you're in love, you're not asking for a separate room. What if they snore so loud? That's a completely different conversation. First of all, now we're crossing the line into medical situations, but there are ways that you can still be in love and you can still make that work, but it's, that's a different conversation entirely. They snore so loud, so I need a different room, different conversation. But the last thing you would want if you're in love is to be doing separate rooms with your spouse. Let me see. Adebusola says, ain't nothing wrong with having separate room, especially those with messy partners. That's your messy partner. If you have not yours, of course, I'm saying whoever think they have a messy partner, if you have a messy partner and you are, because of that, creating separate rooms, nah, I'm not going to take that in. There are deeper reasons. Okay. Now there is exception to every rule. There's some people that's what work. They call it. That's what work for us, and they both come with their full chest. There's exception, but that's usually not the case. There's exceptions to every rule, of course, right? That's usually not the case, Sha. And if that's not usually the case, you end up with a partner. You're asking them for a separate room because that's usually not the case. Now they kind of feel funny. They feel some type of way because they're like, "Why are you asking for a separate room? She's so Lara, why am I smelling? What did I do wrong? Why? Because I put my shoe in the wrong place. You want a separate room? Okay, I'll clean up, right? And if they don't clean up, you're like, no, I want a separate room. Like, hey, you can have a separate room, But yeah, I did stop the cap. And there's usually a deeper reason why people might want a separate room.
Stop the cap.
It could be because you want a separate room that you call yours for your shoes. That walk-in closet is kind of like your room, right? But to sleep and have, it's usually a deeper reason. That's a good question, Chinye. How messy is that partner, Biko? Are we talking about just a few shoes, or their smelling pata is on the floor everywhere? What are we talking about here? Would you be able to stay married to that person if their smelling pata is over one room? That house will be smelling all the way through, right? So I don't know. He said they're organizing their mess. Now that's a new one for me. That's a new one. What do you mean by they're organizing their mess? As in they see it as organized? Interesting. Anyway, let me see here. Let me see if there's any interesting comment on the post itself. Look at how proud she is of being divorced. Bet her parents will be ashamed of her. No, that's weird. There's no need for anybody to be ashamed because they're divorced. Most people that are divorced will go through this phase that she's in. The phase where they conclude that it's because they married too young. I don't think it has anything to do with anything. I really don't think so. Okay? Actually, not think so. I know it doesn't have anything to do with anything. The reason why you're divorced is that somebody did not know what they were doing, including you. All right? That's really what it comes down to. And we need to start seeing it that way. okay, so that people can actually learn what they need to learn. Before, inside, after marriage, people need to start treating marriage as another endeavor that is worthwhile, that if it's worth it enough for you, you know that there's some things you need to learn beyond common sense. Okay, but most people that are divorced will go through that phase and they will conclude that it's because they married too young. Okay, I know because I've heard it a few times. Okay, you will hear it everywhere, and when you start hearing it everywhere, it starts to become like it's the truth, right? No, it is not. It is not the truth. That's just projection at best. Okay, and you know what they tend to do? They tend to advise younger people to take their time. What did she say? To wait until you are tired. Until tired of the streets. Okay. All right. So I'll tell you this. Okay. There is a lot of truth to it's okay for men to show some scars. It's not attractive for women to show a bunch of scars. All right. Emotional, physically speaking, spiritually speaking, it's not well accepted by both men and women that women should show a bunch of scars all over their body, emotionally speaking, before they get into marriage. It's not an attractive thing. It will show up again and it will haunt your marriage. It will be additional layers of problem you have to deal with. It is generally accepted that men show some scars. Okay, it is just the society we live in, a social order of things. For both genders, it can get too much at some point. Okay, so collecting a bunch of premium breakfast because you call it you're taking your time, there's a cost to it. You will pay a price for that. What price? I don't know. Everybody's story is different, but you will pay a price for that. All right, the longer you wait. Okay, well, it's okay. Everybody will pay a price. Ask for it. What about people that end up divorcing? Well, they divorced because they didn't know what they were doing. If you want to teach anybody else anything, teach them to prepare, and then not only prepare, continue to add value to themselves as they go through life. And then you can reduce divorce at that point. Having people wait to a magic number, that's not going to help. Okay, that's only going to make things worse. Okay, just look around you. What I just said will make sense. Someone said they should just ban this podcast. If you are support, please gather here. No, they should speak up so we can correct it. They need to do more sorosoke so we can correct it as they come. Organizing their mess, meaning in the midst of their chaos, they know where their things are kept. Oh, wow, that's the thing. Some people go through that and they call it marriage. Eesh. Listen, I'm not the most organized person. I do have my own little mess here and there, but it's not enough for her to separate rooms. You know, if it's enough for her to separate rooms, it's probably a matter of time. She might just want to separate altogether from that marriage at some point. You know. So exactly. So when you're trying to clean up after them, they are mad at you. Oh, I believe that. I know that exists. Now that's making even more sense. Let me see. My solution for people like that who are in love is to have separate rooms because they'll both lose their minds. I'm not sure okay, so I agree that what you're saying do exist, right? But if it's that bad that she wants a separate room, she might just want a separate life at some point. Because if they're that messy, they will usually be messy in other ways of life. You will get tired at some point. But I see what you're saying. Let me see here. Somebody said everyone has their own philosophy of life. Do what works for you. That's always. Let me say this with my full chest. Let me repeat what the person said. Everyone has their own philosophy of life. Do what works for you. That is always a stupid advice. Okay? That's always a stupid advice. I'm going to continue to say that henceforth with my full chest. Okay? The only place in life where people say do what works for you is in marriage and relationship. It's disrespectful to yourself. Okay, imagine somebody comes into your life and they do what works for them and they're just messy inside of they're organized inside their own mess. Could make sense, right? See how that doesn't make any sense, right? That's always a stupid advice. Once upon a time we used to be like, there's no such thing as a stupid advice or a stupid question. Like, no. There is stupid advice and there are stupid questions, okay? Especially if they are outrightly making it as a statement and it's not a question, okay? If they seem like there's a full stop period at the end of it, then we have to call it what it is. People have been teaching me for a long time. They say, Ola, call a spade a spade. Now we're calling a spade a spade. How's that? Anyway, 2830 is just perfect and right. You have your life to live and enjoy, and your own first. That is not a magic number. It does not solve marriage problems. I'm sorry. Okay. If you marry at 22 and you don't know what you're doing, you will still collect. Let me make this clear for everybody, so we can be clear here. Let's be clear. If you marry at the age of 18, you don't know what you are doing, you go still collect. If you marry at the age of 65, yeah, by the way, this one is worse, and you don't know what you're doing, you collect about 10,000 times. Okay. That's it. There's a common denominator here. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, let me play that for you again. If you don't know what you are doing, you are carrying a weight that's bigger than you at any age. You see the weight? You see that marriage? You see that's marriage? Look at marriage right there. At any age, okay, at any age, that marriage will end up inside of the pot of water. If you say that, if you're saying that and you put a period at the end of it, now we're on the same page. But the idea of doing what works for you, I've been saying 2830 is a magic number. Men will say 35. It actually gets worse with age. Go and check now. It gets worse with age. It gets worse with the number of divorces you've had. The number, as far as statistics is concerned, the only thing you can change here is make sure you engage coaching. Make sure you engage training. Make sure you engage more knowledge, more wisdom, right? Particularly from an experience-driven standpoint. You need people that have had some experience to share some insights with you. A few of them, not one person, not one couple, okay? I'm not talking about the one that looks good on the surface on social media either, okay? But it's okay to ask them too, what is working for you? Ask a couple of people, what is working for you? Hang around them, hang out around them and see. Maybe you get a little bit more insight than do what works for you. Because if you say do what works for you, then you start to say things like, don't compare yourself to them. Oh, you don't know what's working for them. Just do you. Guess what? They're probably doing them. They will probably end up in divorce. You're probably right. But hey, like anything else that's worthwhile in life, we engage knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Okay, we remain, if it's worth that much for us and we care about it lasting a lifetime, then we remain a student of what makes it work for a lifetime, not just vet before you get married. Of course you should vet before you get married, but you think that's going to be enough? You're definitely whining because it's not going to be enough. Okay, you're definitely trying to whine me. Let me read one more and then we'll end with the Ebuka story. Advice here and there, just do what works for you. Shengbo, another one. That's a stupid advice always. Just do what works for you. By the way, age and maturity aren't 5 and 6. That's a nice one. It's true that a small minority of people, the more they age, the backwards their maturity go, but it's minority. Okay, most people tend to mature along the same line as age. That's another thing we're telling ourselves that we used to lie to ourselves, okay? Because we say it in absolutes, okay? That's a problem. But my auntie told me this. There's no need to rush for real. Is your auntie divorced? Is your auntie collecting woto? There's people inside of marriage collecting woto inside of marriage that will also say the same thing, okay? And there's some people not necessarily collecting. It's just, it rolls off the tongue very easy. Like, take your time. I do say take your time too, right? But please, whenever I say take your time, please don't take me out of context. Context matters. There's some people taking their time. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. Pay attention to that. Jesus Christ. Now, this one is projecting. This bros is projecting. He said, Olosho's now running podcast. That is projection. Any form of extreme is obviously projection, okay? Age doesn't equal sense. So, let's just wait and pretend that we're going to be here forever because age doesn't make sense. Okay, Indomie generation. Okay.
Continue.
All right, so let's leave that at that. Let's go on. Let me know what your thoughts are about this as we are still here. Do me a favor, hit that like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we do go live. We're just rubbing minds, okay? I don't know everything. I'm just sharing some additional insights. Maybe we can get us thinking a little bit deeper than surface level talking point. What's going on, Natu? Welcome. I'll be back in about 20 seconds.
It's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.